trying to figure out stuff with this new platform, and we got a little confused.
We did. We got confused. We were trying to share it to our texting community. Because that's what we normally do. We shoot out a text to our texting community that we are live, and we
can't figure out how to do that.
Can't figure out how to send you the link. So I felt like we did it last time. Hey, Dana. Hey, Jules.
Hello,
Jules. Okay, real quick. Jules, you said late, and I saw that your comment came up. So apparently you could already comment, like on YouTube. It was like.
Was it already live?
I have no idea. I really have no idea.
Hey, Julie. Hey, Pam.
But hey, guys. Hello.
Happy Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, happy Sunday. Thank you guys for joining us here.
I'm waiting for our babies to come and have some loving.
I know. They had the windows open today. They had the Zoomies. So they were, a little excited about stuff and things.
Hey, Anna.
So we are now live on Facebook and YouTube for this event. You can comment on YouTube once it comes up as pending live. Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
Hey, Robin.
We're learning new
Larson
things.
Is here.
We're learning new
Hello,
things.
Love.
Every single day.
Are you back home and safe after these crazy fires?
Yeah. What is going on? What's going on there? Vicky, hello, my love.
Hi, Heather.
I'm going to see if I can.
Are you going to still try to
share it? Yeah, because it should say we're live somewhere, right?
I'm trapped on
here
Facebook. You can't escape. It's like the Hotel California, right? Once you pop, oh, you didn't evacuate. Stop. I thought that you had to evacuate.
Oh, I thought you did evacuate, like precautionary. But that's good. That's very good. Yeah, thank God you.
It horrifies me every time those fires happen. I just can't even imagine. Kittens, cats, dog, kids, hubby. All safe. That is a very blessed thing. Hi, Fran. I evacuate the kittens as a precaution. Okay, that must be how.
Gotcha. We
thought it was the whole kit and caboodle.
Kitten and caboodle, not just the kittens. All
right, Jay's still gonna try to figure this out. I'm gonna hit the podcast button, and she's gonna hear the beep, beep, beep. Too many to evacuate.
My fingers are. I cut my nails, guys. Okay, so I cut my nails, and I haven't done that in a long time. Like usually, if it's
Oliver,
usually I'll file them down or something. But if I don't break one, then I don't cut them all off and let them go back. I used to do
nails.
it. I used to do it all the time when I was. When we would go camping and stuff like that. We had a lot of projects. Well, we have a big project coming up this week, guys, and you're going to see every bit of it. We're working with a beautiful company, Armorcat. We had Kate Benjamin designed, the famous designer, designed a cat wall in our house. And we got all the product from Armorcat, and we are putting it up this week. We painted a wall today.
It is happening.
Yeah, it is happening.
So D and T are talking about you can give stars on this too, probably because we're live on Facebook as well. Only thing is we can't see the stars from this.
From our we can't see it. We have to have one of our beautiful assistants, team members, helping us with that. And they are not. They are not required to do that on our podcast, just on our normal live.
They work enough on a Sunday.
Yeah, they do enough.
Wait a second. Before we start the podcast, Vicky said I want Adrian to cut my hair when I come in November. You're coming in November? Did I know this?
You didn't. I did. See, it's like you guys would think that we talk. We have to sit down in the closet to actually talk. Like Nicole was saying stuff today, and you're like, you didn't show her, and she's like,
I thought she was
I didn't show her. Yeah, no, we don't talk. But yeah, Vicky's coming. She's gonna stay the night.
Girl, I'll cut your hair.
Yeah,
I got a nice pair of.
I would not recommend it, Vicky. I mean, she does a great job, but it is very stressful because you're like, wait a second,
very stressful for Jay.
Wait, you're cutting a hair right here, and then you're gonna go over here and cut a hair here. It always turns out really well, but it's like, what is your method?
Hey, Suzanne.
I don't know.
Oh my God, you guys.
Welcome everyone, and thank you guys so much for joining our podcast. Let's get our podcast going. We're going to be talking about our rents today. Our parents. And
we know they don't watch the podcast, so
yeah, we know they don't even listen to podcasts.
Open season.
Yeah. So
Hey,
they're not gonna,
metaphor.
so we can do the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes
Oh,
to the
thank you.
rents.
She really likes the new format.
Oh, yay. Thank
We
you. We
miss
do
you,
too.
love.
It's a really cool format that gives us a lot more capability on our end to give you guys the information without having to like just yell it all the
Constantly
time.
repeat it.
Yeah, constantly repeat it.
Yes.
Who's coming? My
Vicky
sexy man
said, I'll be
Zorro.
recovering from drugs and I won't care. Girl,
Okay,
that sounds
cool.
like it's going to be a
Good.
party.
Yeah.
ZB.
I don't think you should ever recover from
ZB.
drugs. Just
Oh,
kidding.
my baby
Okay, here
Black
we go. My
Panther. Let's
sexy
go.
man.
Come on.
Why did it stop? What happened?
Mayday. Mayday.
What just happened?
Not sure.
Welcome to episode number 0090. That's 90 of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. That's 90 episodes, guys.
Wow.
90 episodes or 90. It's actually spelled with the T.
90.
90 episodes that we have done of our podcast Back in the Closet. If you guys have not, if you're new to the platform, if you're new to podcast listening and you want to go back, you can go back 90 episodes. So
Hey.
feel free to go back and listen.
You got a road trip coming up? Plug us in.
Yeah, we have a road trip coming up. We should get a list of podcasts that we need to listen to
Yes,
for that
ZB.
trip.
ZB.
So welcome everybody. We
Hello.
are really excited to be here on a beautiful fall day in October. And today we decided to have a kind of fun chat. So the other night we were just sitting, chilling, and talking to each other.
Remarkably,
So we do talk. We just don't talk about anything in our day. It's just like every once in a while we'll come up with like a,
no, let's be honest. There are
you be
times
honest
if
because I
we
don't
do-
remember this.
If we do,
I think I was drinking wine.
do you think? If we do want to, we'll try to unplug and not necessarily talk work,
Right.
or we do always just talk about our day in general. But we got like on a little sidewinder talking. Whoa, bro! Look at him
He
go.
is climbing
He
to the
is-
top of the closet.
He's out to check out the shoes up there. Anyway, but we do try to do the phones down rule. So
Every once in a while.
So often we will be in the middle of doing a bunch of stuff. So we'll just keep I guess the technical word is working. It doesn't feel like working.
It's not
because we're doing
working.
what we love.
It's just yeah.
But we get new notifications and we're always catching up. So we never actually talk. So we're both handling different things. Anyway, so this was a phones down night and we got talking about kind of the broad perspective of business and certain things that we have started to notice over the 20 some years, it's been 20 years, a little bit more, that we've known each other. And noticing some interesting similarities between certain
Us and our parents.
Yeah, certain traits that we both have and clearly seeing where they come from.
Yeah. So we thought we'd talk about the rents today. We would just be like, okay, so here's some stuff that we've learned. And I think every bit of it, regardless of if, it's kind of become a struggle. I think everything in our lives, at least, it's either been a lesson or it's been a lesson, it's something that they've given us, they've taught us along our journey, growing up, that has stuck with us. And that's all. I think it's, we're so grateful for it, regardless of how we categorize it in the good, bad, or ugly category. Right?
Number one thing I have to say that I think has brought us together, and we both definitely blame our parents for this, is the work ethic that we were raised with. And while growing up, it was a source of maybe resentment at times for me. Resentment's a strong word, but it was like, work was just a part of life. Since I was 10 years old, work was just a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
You only spent what you earned, and whatever you earned was put into, I remember the little accordion envelopes, right? If I made $2, my dad would give that to me in change, and 10% would go here. This amount would go into savings. This amount could be used towards gum. You know what I mean? Like, it was all very
money management,
but it went along directly with work for what you earned. It wasn't just that, oh my gosh, I made $10 today, I get to go and no, it was whatever you earn then is divided out monetarily. You know what I mean? Right? Hey, Kathy.
Yeah. Like this as much is going to be your
Are
taxes.
you ready to come down? Come here. Come on. Come on, bud.
Come on.
Come on.
Can you guys see him?
He's coming. There you are, my
Our
sweet
cats
Panther
are
man.
our cats are trained.
Yes,
They
you
know
are.
very well. So he just jumped from this. For those of you guys listening and not watching, Zorro just jumped from the top of the closet onto Adrian's back because she got up and bent over, and that's what we do for our cats. We get up and bend over all the time.
Did you learn that from your parents or no?
Anytime they jump up
No.
high, we come to their rescue and they jump on our backs, and that's just what the four littles. That's just what they grew up because we've taught them, we've conditioned them that that's what we do. So we show up every time, and we haven't taught them how to jump down from high places on their own yet.
No, we have not.
So hey, that's a lesson for parents, right?
Back to-
maybe something that we should,
But back to the topic though, the work ethic. Let's leave the money out of it. The work ethic part of it, I think, is something that we have found to be directly related to how we were both raised. And being raised by both of our parents are still together. I think that's rare in and of itself. 50 years for my folks this year and 53 years for yours this year, which is remarkable in and of itself. Both sets of our parents are very hardworking individuals and definitely work their asses off to raise us and give us
keep food on the table.
Keep food on the table. Yeah.
And that we are blessed for.
The thing that we've recognized though, as now we own our own business, is that we were raised to, you're done with work when work is done. And that's been an interesting thing to try to put parameters around.
Yeah. I mean, not so much for me. I think that the work ethic I don't think that has anything to do with my parents. I mean, the work ethic does have everything to do with my parents, but as far as like, that's what they showed me, that when they were done with work was done. But they were never like, we weren't like your family where it's like, okay, now it's family time. Right. You know, so it was like when you're done with school or you're done with whatever, you know, in school, you were homeschooled. So I don't know exactly how that worked, but I think you had homework, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
you still have homework in homeschool. It's all homework.
It's all homework. I know, but you didn't I went to school and then I came home and I had, depending on the classes, depending on the workload of school, I had a certain amount of work that I had to get done, and I had to get that done before the next day. Right. So it was still coming home and working. It wasn't like, you know, and then, you know, I had my other activities. That was softball and it was basketball and it was church and it was all these other things that we always did. So we didn't have like that family time where it's like you clock out kind of thing, family time. So that hasn't been as much of a dynamic for me as far as clocking out. Now there's certain things that lots of things that I don't like to do after the, you know, work is done. And I just despise doing stuff after it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be done now. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm just going to keep doing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wake up in the middle of the night, check my phone for, you know, that kind of stuff. But I think, you know, also with the work ethic thing, my dad used to always tell me, and it's like a double-edged sword now, right? Because my dad always said, you do things right the first time. Basically what that means is don't half-ass shit, right? Like, sorry, excuse me for my language, but I don't know another way to say that. Don't half do stuff, like do it and do it right the first time. But that, I think, has instilled in me a fear of failure.
And a great deal of anxiety.
And probably a great deal of anxiety, because it's like, okay, I have to do it and I have to do it right. So I need to, and you have to do it quickly too, and always be on time. Like there's a lot of things that are really great because I don't half ask things. Like I just don't, like for the most part. I mean, I'm sure there are things that, you know, I'll start laundry and not finish it that day. Then I call that half-assed, because it's like you start it and you finish it. But she will beat herself up about that. Correct. I'm beating myself up right now because there is.
It's not just like, oh wow, the laundry's not done. It is.
No. Yeah. It's yeah. So I think it is one of those things. It's like, I don't know and if my parents were watching, they would probably be like, well, you should beat yourself up if you don't, like still to this day, probably because
What was so important that you couldn't finish a task?
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think some of those things are, and not to blame my parents by any means, because I'm an adult and I have full control of, how I handle things and how my emotions and what but I think that's not something I've dealt with necessarily. So it's something that I just continue to, I guess, do. Fear. I don't know. But
It definitely is I think it's definitely part of the anxiety thing.
Yeah.
Because there's always something to be done, and there's always a right way to do it, and there's always something that you're supposed to be doing in order to make sure that it is done well the first time.
Yeah.
And I think that is, especially in.
But I mean, really, when you think about it, and the truth is, you really have to kind of fail your way to success. And when you think about it, it's not like I've never been a failure. Like there's tons of things lessons that I've learned. By failure, I mean, who is it? Thomas Jefferson or whoever said he failed his way to success. Edison. Yes, Thomas Edison. Isn't that what I said?
You said Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, yeah, no. But I think there's, I think failure is part of the learning process. And by failure, I mean failing at things, doing things.
Learning what doesn't work.
Yes, sure. To be politically correct, doing things not the correct way is a way.
You don't have the luxury of knowing the correct way of running this specific business.
Oh, that's true. Well, until afterwards. So it hasn't been, until afterwards. And I'm like, that wasn't right. That I shouldn't have done that. And that didn't work. So let's not do that,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then I get what you're saying. I don't necessarily look at those as failures though.
Yeah.
Especially
however, it's linguistics, however you want to put it. Like there's a better word, but I don't know what it is.
Well, mistakes, I think, are mistakes.
Mistakes. There you
mistakes
go. That's
can be very valuable. It's not always something that Jay likes to take time for though, because you have to get things done.
Adrian's in a foul mood today, just so you guys know. So
do I seem like I'm in a foul mood?
No, because you're smiling with that smirk of, I'm gonna cut you. Yeah,
I'm not. What? I'm not in a.
What? Pause. Sorry, guys. We didn't cut out.
We never cut out the awkward pauses.
What else do you think that you've learned, good, bad, and ugly from your folks?
Good, bad. I think temper is something that I learned from my mom. She's an Italian. I think I have a bad temper that I have not done a good job of truly controlling from time to time. It takes a lot to get me mad, but when I get mad,
it does take a lot.
Right.
Or
but when I'm mad, it's
period.
Yeah. Or, that time of the month. But I don't think that I've, and it's one of those things, right? You learn those foundational things that our parents kind of teach us or condition us into.
Yeah.
And when you don't recognize the best way to handle something, it's like you have to learn that on your own. And I'm not sure that I've done that yet. It takes a lot to get me mad. But if I get mad, it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
It's not pretty.
It's
but
dangerous.
I think that's a lot of people. It's not.
I'm sure.
It's a ton of people, right? Like a lot of us are not at our best when we are at our angriest. And especially if, we don't have, like time if we're reacting instead of responding, which was another podcast that we did at one time. If we are given the time to respond, then, even when angry can usually, work through it. But sometimes it's like just an immediate reaction and then it goes downhill.
Yeah. Yeah. What's another one for you? We'd probably be better at naming the ones that we think.
Okay, let's do it.
No, let's not. We can't change it up now. It's too late.
No, go ahead.
Nope, you still got one more you got to think of on your own.
Of my own?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we should name each other's.
Let me say one that I think that we both have that I think is directly related to both of our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we learn more and more how to better do this, but I think kindness and empathy is something that our moms especially
Yeah.
really instill
Our moms.
yeah
Yeah.
that ability to understand that not everyone comes
Not everybody comes from the same
kind of situation.
Yeah, not
Like, you
everybody
have to be
looks the
considerate.
same. Not everybody, people have different issues and different things going on in life. And I did learn that young. Like my mom was a teacher to special needs kids. Oh, and not even kids. Like some of them were grown adults that, had been through a terrible trauma when they were young and never aged, mentally past like 3 years. So so I rode the what they called the short bus. I rode the short bus to her work after school in like elementary, and got to play with these awesome, like it's just like I never knew that there was a difference because I was so young and that's just what I did, like. And I think those experiences and your mom and you, all of you kids, where you and your brothers were also like exposed to different types of people
right
at a young age
and
for the most part,
understanding
right?
well. And I think that my mom is a as I mentioned, she used to be a hot-tempered Italian, so I think that I learned some of those lessons especially by judging people initially and then being punished for that.
Oh,
Like, you need to think about this. So it was something that maybe I didn't know. I'm thinking of situations with my brother, my older brother, where I would do something that was completely like not kind, and there was punishment involved.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about this. You're getting your ass whooped, and then we're going to talk about this so that you understand why you got your ass whooped.
yeah.
And I think that my parents were very good, at least about explaining why what happened when it came to punishment.
Yeah.
But I think that is that stopping and thinking, knowing that there's a consequence for not stopping and thinking very young, helped me understand, helped me to take time and think about where someone else might be coming from, what their situation may be. It really
Yeah, and I would say
gave
in my
pause.
in my life, lying was one of those one of those
Cardinals.
things that, I mean, death by shoe.
Death
If you lie,
by
like,
shoe or electrical cord.
yeah, like absolutely, lying is out of the picture. You
Mhm.
do not lie, and they did explain why, and still to this day cannot stand people that lie. Very judgerton, but I am like brutally honest sometimes.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, because I just didn't grow up. I mean, the first time I lied, and literally, guys, my first lie was, and I don't know why they will never let me live it down. I don't know why I did this. I was more of like, in my mind, it was more of being like a prankster, like being funny and being a prankster, because I was like not a funny kid, but like a goofy kid.
Her nickname growing up was Rowdy.
Yeah.
So I'll let you
Yeah.
take
So
it from there.
So I go in, we're at home. My sister was my mom was in the kitchen cooking. My sister was in the living room. I go from the kitchen to the living room and tell my sister that Mama had just cut her thumb off. And Liz is like bawling and goes running into Mama. And Mama's like, what? And she's like, she said that you cut your thumb off. And wow. It was like, you do not lie. And I was like, okay, all right.
That was not funny.
Get it. That wasn't funny. That wasn't a funny lie.
All.
Nope. All right. So I think that's one that
it opens up a can of worms, though. I mean, I think nowadays punishment is something that people very much frown upon, which I think is interesting. And maybe they've evolved into new ways of teaching lessons. But I heard, like, as a kid, like, I really do attribute so much of some of the bigger lessons I've learned, or the voices in my head,
to the fear of punishment.
Not necessarily to the fear of punishment. I don't think that that's it. Like I think about it, and I don't know that you got as many explanations after punishment as I did.
No, I got a lot of because I said so.
Right.
There was a lot of because I said so.
My mom was very communicative about why this happened, and just really stripping it down to the fundamentals, the foundation of why this was something that was not right.
Right.
And I think that was very informative for me. I mean, I think that was very formative for me.
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. So I don't necessarily
I
look
can
at it
see
as
that.
like, ooh, I don't do this because I got a bad spanking. I think about it as something that I learned from that experience.
Well, there are certain things like being on time. That was
I never learned that one.
She never learned that
I was
one.
homeschooled. I was already there.
No, but if I went out riding my bike, and my parents would always give me a curfew of some time that I have to be home, right? Or I'm out playing with friends or whatever. I have a curfew of being home. Say that curfew is 5:00. If I show up in the door at 5:01, I'm grounded. That was like in high school. I was spanked as a kid. So so it's like you don't get to go ride your bike anymore, or you're going to be in trouble. It's for being late. You do not be late. And I don't know that they ever explained to me that they get scared if we're at 1 minute late. They're going to worry if we're 1 minute late, or what it was. But I think it was more of be respectful of other people's time. We're teaching you to be humans, and humans are supposed to be respectful of other people's time. So you should be on time, and you're going to have to go do a job, and you can't show up late to your jobs and things like that. I think that was like their bigger picture. I don't know for sure, but to this day, this girl is like late to everything. And I'm like, still to this day, my anxiety will go skyrocket, especially if we're going to my parents' house. And, it's not a big deal if we're on time for Adrian, but for me, I'm like, this is my parents. Like, we have to be on time. They are going to be angry, even if they don't say it anymore. They show it in their face, and they are angry if we are late. And yet we're like almost always late to their place now.
So I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Do you think your always being on time thing is because of that lesson that you learned as a child of respecting other people's time, or do you?
I didn't learn that lesson. I didn't learn that lesson as a child. I learned you're going to be grounded if you're not on time. That's what I learned as a child. Growing up, thinking back, it's like, and I've talked to people, business people. Our accountant, for instance, he's like, it's very important that, if you're going to be late, at least tell somebody that you're going to be late and let them know whatever, because my time is valuable. And, like he's, and, like other people. And I'm like, that is important. That is probably why it's important. And maybe that's what they were trying to teach me. It was because I said so as a kid.
Right. Okay. So do you think that is part of your OCD tendencies?
Probably.
And where do you think those came from?
My daddy. Yeah. Well, the whole like do it right the first time thing, the whole like be on time, all of these things that actually make me have made me a very valuable employee, and probably valuable as a business owner now, because we're not late to any meetings that we have. Like, we don't show up late to anything like that. So all of those things have probably made me very valuable. But yeah, I think the anxiety, I think the OCD-ness definitely comes from Daddy. And I mean, yeah, and he was military too. So it was, there's certain, you make your bed, you do your, like you schedule your stuff, you get it done, you do it right. And that's what you're supposed to do, kind of thing too. What is that smirk for?
It's not a smirk.
What are you thinking then? You're supposed to be thinking out loud here in the closet.
That's right. No, I just find it fascinating that there's so many things that we both, and I know there were a lot of things that were kind of personal in the conversation, but that we can clearly see as either my dad's influence on me or my mom's influence on me, or your, like, very much an individual impression that was made that is that has turned into a character trait in some way or another. But what I thought was very cool was that by far, and I think it's funny because we both were a little rebels.
Rebel, that's a good word.
We were both not necessarily estranged from our parents, but definitely not as close as we are now.
Right.
And definitely not as close as we were growing up, right? Like, once we realized that we could put some distance, we were like, bye. Right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's fascinating now where we both went through this phase maybe of blaming our parents
Oh, yeah.
for things,
I think every kid does that.
being depressed about something because of our parents, and then but also our parents are the ones that gave us the tools to be able to extract blame from situations
Yeah.
and take responsibility in a way that we could move forward in a more healthy manner.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
To take ownership of where we were in life and not.
Yes. Yes. And I think that, I mean, that responsibility piece is so valuable when
Yeah.
it comes to just being human, right? Like
In
when
general.
you can take responsibility, then you are no longer blaming someone else, and you can, not to say like you're blaming yourself. Blaming yourself is not taking responsibility. That's not
It's not productive.
that's not productive. But to take responsibility and ownership of whatever situation that you're in, yes, I do believe that our parents gave us the ability to do that. And yeah, I was the one that was like, my parents never wanted to have dinner around the table,
Right.
and my parents, like, and whatever, like complained about everything until I grew up, and took responsibility, and then was like, actually, a lot of that stuff I'm very grateful for. I'm very grateful that I was able to, do outside things and be, not be around a table every night. Like, that's okay. Like, it's, whatever it is, like that.
She feels grateful now because she had to sit on some of my family dinners, and my family dinners are like the big Italian family dinners where
They're so much fun.
you sit there and you eat for 3 hours, and there are 17 different conversations going on, and it is a little overwhelming for someone who would swallow her food without chewing so that she could ask,
Be excused
may I
from
be
the table.
excused from the table?
Yeah, the times that we did eat around the table, we weren't allowed to speak. Only Daddy could speak, and he would speak with his mouth full. But that's the whole reason that we couldn't speak.
I think it's the whole reason she doesn't chew food.
so eating was not like a pleasurable experience or family event. It was like we all sit down and we have to eat whatever's in front of us, and then we can say, may I please be excused? And if they excused us, we left.
Up and out.
And that was it. Yep. Yeah. But I mean, I think, and let's bring it back to cats. So,
Ooh, how are you going to do this?
Well, just like this, right? Like what happened at the beginning of the podcast, where Zorro and Friday and Jack and Madison, they have not learned certain things because we continue to enable them, right? I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would be fine and whatever. But like certain things that we do, however it is that we are around our cats, they are going to pick up on that. Cats are just like us humans. You are who you hang around. Like the same goes for our cats. When you see someone that's just like has a mushy lovey heart, their cats are just like so mushy lovey whatever. And I know that each cat has their own personality, and it's not like we form their personalities completely, but there are many things that, like the stress study, right? Like when you are a highly stressed person and you reflect that onto your cats become highly stressed cats, and they deal with the things that come along with anxiety and felines. Which
can cause a lot of health issues.
Yeah.
I love that you're bringing it back to cats, but I'm having this moment where I'm thinking, oh my God, this is why we have cats and not kids.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
We would mess up some humans.
We would mess up some
I don't know. Or we would make some really valuable, awesome humans. Who knows? But
who knows? I do have to say one more thing. I got to give, I know that
what, Madison?
Maddie Boo Boo baby girl. I know that we mentioned that both of our parents, we're so blessed. Not only are we blessed that our parents are both together for 50 plus years, but blessed to be close to them now, and blessed to have the opportunity to realize how much we learn from them while they're still with us. Hello, Angel. I have to say too, though, that I think one of the things that my mom did so well growing up that I do feel backfired on her was she was so good. I have 4 brothers, and arguably I am the worst of the humans that my parents raised. My 4 brothers are extraordinary human beings, all 4 of them. because
That's not true.
she did such a great Angel.
Oh, baby girl.
Did you do a boom? Come here, Angel.
Did you do a boom? Did that come from your mom?
Nope. that just came
No idea
naturally.
where that came from.
But I have to say that one of the things my mom did so well, both of my parents, they did such a good job with 5 different kids that had all different kind of extracurricular activities and everything. They did such a good job of really kind of meeting each of us where we individually were and encouraging us to be comfortable finding ourselves, right? So for me in first grade, that meant I wanted to cut my hair. That meant that I did not want to wear shoes that had pink on them. That meant all these things that were, for the only girl in the family, were a little uncomfortable for my parents to handle. But it was also so incredible to see how all that panned out, that my parents really did a good job of helping me realize how to meet people wherever they're at.
Yeah.
Right. And even something that was not my mom, I used to have hair down to my butt in first grade, long blonde hair. When I was hard-headed. So my mom is too. So when we were butting heads on the haircut thing, she let me get my haircut, but she kept the braid. Like it's
Still
like
has it to this day.
like a memento of her deciding to let me be who I wanted to be, or let me grow into my own human. But I think that is a really valuable thing, and it's something that is so awesome to see other people doing, like meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
It's something that this community is so incredible at, but it's something that I really think is one of the best ingredients in good relationships.
Yeah.
You know, like the other night when we were talking, it's fun for us to identify different things that we may or may not always appreciate about each other and recognize where those things come from.
Yeah.
But it is about meeting each other where we're at.
Yeah.
And growing from there.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a good ending to this podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us here back
Happy
in the
Sunday.
closet with Adrian and I.
And Madison.
We are, and Madison, and Zora was here. I think he's left. But we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Maybe it made you think. Maybe you need to call your guardians, whoever helped raise you. Sometimes that wasn't parents for us; it was our parents. But moving on, like when I got into my 20s, it was my granddad that really taught me a whole lot about life. And so it's, like there's different stages. Maybe we just need to tell someone thank you for the lessons that they've taught you in whatever way, whether you liked it at the time or didn't like it at the time. If you've learned a lesson, you should be grateful for that and thank those that guide you along your journey.
Teach you,
that help teach you. So that's gonna wrap it up. We love you guys so much. Please have a beautiful day wherever you're at, whatever day it is. Count your blessings and have a catitude of gratitude.
Bye, guys.
That's it. We are going to be live back here on Facebook at 6 p.m. for Cat Tip Review, per usual every Sunday. And so if you guys want to join us on our Facebook page, please do. Please come join us.
Love
in
you
the meantime,
guys.
we're going to shut down all the lighting and move out of our closet where it's kind of warm.
Oh, I want to have a toast real quick since we're off the podcast.
Okay.
Lisa, I hope your headache is getting better. I saw your
Lisa.
comment on the VIP. She's taking her mom out to dinner tomorrow. What is she, 93? Since she's finally out of
She's
quarantine.
out of quarantine. Yay.
Angel.
Madison. What is she trying to do?
Cheers.
Cheers to you and your
Oh, I
mama.
love that, Lisa. Happy Sunday. Happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday. Happy Sunday. We love you guys and we hope to see you in a little bit.
I have no idea what time it is,
I don't
but
know.
it'll be soon. Bye, guys. We'll
Bye,
see you
guys.
soon.
How do I end this? Oh, there we go.